Oh yeah,
I'm a little nervous.
You're awesome. You'll be awesome. Let's see. Are we here?
It says we're live.
Okay, hello. I see people have been waiting and saying hi. Are you guys hearing us, seeing us? I don't see, it's still saying, oh, it's buffering. I don't think we're there yet because it's, oh, I hope my internet didn't just go. Hang on a minute. Well, no, because you guys are on. Okay, maybe now. Hello. Can anybody out there watching see us? Are we live? Can you guys hear us, see us? I'm still not sure. Okay, I think we are now. Okay, there we go. Yay! We've been on for 52 seconds and I've still been sitting here. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth. I have 3 guests today for this special edition, Terrific Tuesday with friends over coffee. I forgot to ask any of them if they had anything to drink. You're not required to have coffee. It's not mandatory. That's what I have. But what do you have, Ro? You have coffee?
I have coffee because I have coffee. It's 8:30 in the morning for me. So
I was gonna say it's still early for you. It's lunchtime for me. And Allie, what do you have?
Coffee.
Coffee, awesome. Storm, you are you're the odd man out, but that's okay. Water is great.
That's because I had coffee already this morning.
Very good. See, you're being healthier than we are. That's awesome. Okay, so I have 3 guests today. We are doing a special edition Amish in April chat. I am hosting Amish in April for the 4th year in a row with Sarah, the Bookish Knitter. Now, she probably won't be on here today because she works during this time. And so I did, we chatted about it. She's like, oh, that's my work time. And her and I may do a live stream later, like maybe to wrap it all up or something like that. But for today, I just thought I would stick with the time that I had been doing in March for March Mystery Madness. And whoever was available, then that's what we would go with. So let me go around and introduce everybody. A couple of these guys are brand new booktubers, and they are all booktubers. So I will be sure to put a link to all of their channels below. So if you're out there watching and you have not subscribed to any of these ladies, I want you to do that as soon as you can. So we've got up to in the upper corner next to me is Ro, or Cozy. Sometimes we just call her Cozy because for the longest time she didn't want to tell us her name. But her channel is Cozy Reads Mystery. Her first booktube video was her March Mystery Madness TBR. So she just got started just like a month ago. And then down below her is Storm from Storm Reads. And I just got to know Storm a little bit during March Mystery Madness because we were involved both in a buddy read with the Bookish Bryants of Death by Dumpling. So I'm still getting acquainted with her, still, catching up with her videos and everything. So how long have you been on, Storm?
I've been on for a couple of years, but I haven't really been, like real big on it.
Okay. Well, you can tell us more about that in a minute. Let me finish introducing and then we'll come back around and let everybody talk. And then we have Alli Laschanzky was my very first guest. She was my guinea pig for this very first Terrific Tuesday that I did at the beginning of March for March Mystery Madness. And she has a brand new channel as well. She's been going for a couple of months. And she, if you saw that video, then you've seen her already. And my apologies to everybody who tried to subscribe to her channel on that day because for some reason the link wasn't working, but I will make sure we get a good link this time. I think I fixed that link, so it's working as well, but I'll make sure that we have good links to all 3 of these ladies and their channels in the description of this video so that you can all go and subscribe. All right, so let's go back up to Cozy, or Ro, and you tell us how what made you interested in reading any Amish-themed books. Tell us what kind of Amish books you read and anything you want to share about you and your channel.
So since 2018, I've read nothing but cozy mysteries just because I was trying to find what I liked in my reading taste, and I discovered it was cozy mysteries. And when I found out that was a genre, it's just all I wanted to read. So I've been reading those since. And for Amish, I discovered there was some Amish-themed cozy mysteries. And I've always been fascinated by the Amish lifestyle, but I don't know much about it. But just the simplicity of it and how strong they are in their beliefs was always fascinating to me. And I just started my first Amish cozy mystery last night.
And show us, what did you start? What are you reading?
I started on ebook Hearse and Buggy by Laura Bradford. And I started it last night and I got like 50% through in one sitting. So I'm really enjoying it. Yes, that book.
Yeah, so this is the first in the Amish Mysteries by Laura Bradford. Now, there is a really good interview with Laura Bradford on the book Tiffany's channel. She's the Beach Bum Bookworm. She is also working today. She may be out there in the comments. I think she said, she said she was sneaking in some time to watch, but she probably won't get to be on. But anyway, her and Ro have just taken the cozy mystery world by storm. No pun intended, storm, because like they have just gotten together during March Mystery Madness and started a book club, and they've started doing regular chats and all of that. And before I even had time to think about it, they had already started an Amish in April chat on both on the March Mystery Madness Discord and on their new Discord. So if I will try to put, is it okay to put a link in this video for your Discord group as well?
Yeah.
So that if people want to join that. All right, that'd
Absolutely.
be great. So it is going to, it's focusing mostly on cozy mysteries, of which there are quite a few Amish themed cozy mysteries, not just this one. This one may have been the first one. I don't know if this came first or if Amanda Flower started writing first, but these two ladies are probably have the most, Laura doesn't have as many as Amanda, because Amanda has several series that are Amish themed cozy mysteries. There are a lot of Amish authors, but as far as cozy mysteries go, they're the main two. Now there are some others, but these are the main ones that people are reading and have found. Here's one from the Amish Candy Shop series. The first one is Assaulted Caramel, or Caramel, however you say that word. But this is book 4, Toxic Coffee. It was just the only one I could grab off the library shelf. So anyway, while we're on the subject of Laura Bradford, that is what Storm is reading. Now, you had already read this one previously, and so now you're on to book 3, I think, now. So tell us a little bit about you and your channel and anything you want to share.
Well, at Storm Reads here, I kind of read a bunch of different kinds. I read mysteries, thrillers, horror, romance whenever I want to. I just kind of read whatever I want. And yeah, I've already read Shunned and Dangerous. That was the 3rd one, and now I'm on to Suspended Sentence, which I just love that. And I've read some Amish romances, like back in the day. We used to call them prairie romances. And yeah,
well,
so
there are prairie romances that are not Amish, but I never really thought about that. But yeah, you could call them that, I guess. What were some of the early ones that you read? Do you remember any of the authors?
I don't remember any of the authors. I do you've mentioned that Wanda, is it Brunstetter, Run something? I can't remember, but I read some of hers a long time ago.
Okay, all right. And is that something you think you would ever go back to, or did you been there, done that, and moving on?
No, I probably would, if I'm in the mood. Sometimes I get into different moods with my reading, and sometimes it's like just strictly mysteries, and then sometimes I go off on like a romance tangent and just read them. It just depends.
Yeah. Okay. So I apologize if y'all can hear my dogs barking in the background. So that's a good segue into introducing Alli, because Alli reads a lot of Amish romance. So tell us about, I'm going to mute myself and my dog. Alli tells us about what she likes to read and who are some of your favorite authors and things like that, and what you're reading this week.
A lot of Amish.
Hey, start over just a second, because you were muted. So now you're unmuted. So start over.
Oh, sorry. Hi, my name is Alli. I read a lot of Amish romances. Some of my favorite authors are Amy Clipston and Shelley Shepherd Gray. I just got done reading An Amish Barn Raising, which is 3 short stories. One of them is Amy Clipston. Another one is by Kathleen Fuller, and I'm trying to remember who the third author is. But I read that recently, and I read Amish Midwives, which was really, really good. That also is a short story collection, and one of those is by Amy Clipston. Right now I'm reading a book called The Search by Shelley Shepherd Gray. I have previously read books by Wanda Brunstetter, Beverly Lewis. I've read most of Amy Clipston's backlist. I'm not going to say all of it because I still got some to go. A lot of Shelley Shepherd Gray. Yeah. That's kind of like my little niche in the Amish genre.
Which Shelley Shepherd Gray book did you say you're reading right now?
It's called The Search.
The Search. I was just going to look that up. What series is that from? One of her series?
The Secrets of Crittenden County, I think is how you say it.
I was just trying to look it up and see, because I've got a couple of her series. The one I've read by her that I finished, like it took me no time because it was so good, was the Pinecraft one, because Pinecraft is set in Florida, and it's really good. I've got the first one here. I listened to them on audio, but I hung on to the first one just so I could show it in videos. And hang on, I brought a big stack of books in here. Now I'm making a mess with all of them. Well, I thought I brought it in here, but maybe I didn't. Oh well. Anyway, it's called. What is it called? That's what I was looking for. She's got a lot, and I kind of just started reading her last year. Really, I think I had heard Sarah talk about her. Oh, The Promise of Palm Grove, and I had that book. Now I don't know where it is. Anyway, I don't know if you can see. That's what it looks like. I mean, a lot of your typical Amish romances just have a girl on the front with a prayer cap. You know, they can tend to look similar. But that was really good. And then I have collected the series that has like Forgiven. They're all one-word titles. Forgiven.
I think Hidden is the first one in that series.
Hidden, yes. Now, and that's kind of an unusual cover because the girl does not have an Amish prayer cap on her. So have you read that series?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like a girl who's hiding out in Amish country? Is that?
Yeah, I read that in February.
Okay, tell us about that. That's kind of a trope, I guess. There have been I have known of other stories like that where somebody who's not Amish is in some kind of danger, so they hide out in Amish country for whatever reason. There's one by Beverly Lewis and her husband called Sanctuary that has similar. And what was that Tim Allen movie? Was there Tim Allen movie where they were like hiding out in Amish country?
For richer or poor, they go into witness protection program and they make them Amish.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, it runs the gamut, anywhere from serious to humorous, you know, and from crime to romance. There's really so much out there. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Allie. Tell us about Hidden.
I'm trying to remember. As she said, it's about a girl who, if I remember correctly, it's about a girl who is in a danger, and she's hiding out in Amish country to if I remember correctly, to escape whatever danger she was in. I don't remember too much because I read so much of it. You know, I just kind of read, and I don't know.
It can run together for sure. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. I put you on the spot. You know, if you asked me the synopsis of any one of these books that I've read, I could maybe remember in much detail, maybe, you know, 25% of them. So oh, here it is. I was just going to show you. That's what it looks like there. All right. So, anyway, let's talk about I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Well, we can talk about what you've well, actually, you know what? Since Storm and have just been reading this, tell us a little bit more about this series. What is tell us about the characters and kind of the premise of the first book and what to expect from that series.
Well, I'm sure Storm can tell you more because she's read a few of the books. I only started the first one, so I can give you like a newbie perspective.
Okay, do that, and then Storm can tell us some more about in depth.
So the main character is Claire, and she has left her ex-husband, who was just not appreciating her. She wasn't happy in her marriage. And it's her aunt, I believe, lives in Amish County or Amish country in Pennsylvania. And her aunt runs a B&B. And so she decides to come stay with her aunt after her aunt is asking her to come visit. And Claire ends up loving the lifestyle so much that she decides to stay there. And she's been there for 6 months so far in the book. And she's taken over a shop called Heavenly Treasures. The town is called Heavenly. And I'm not sure how this works, if this is traditional. It seems to me that there are Amish people and non-Amish people in the town. Is that not? Okay. So, so there's a lot of Amish specialty shops. She's taken over a shop that sells, Amish goods like quilts and candles and hand-painted crafts. And the previous shop owner, this is in the synopsis, I believe, he was doing some shady things to the people in the town. And so he left and she took over. And now I'm at the point where he's come back to town, the previous shop owner. So I feel like something's going to go down there. But I'm just really enjoying the lifestyle and learning about it and the simplicity of it. I'm loving it. And I read half of it in one sitting and then I was falling asleep.
Not because you were bored, but because you had been reading half of it in one sitting. All right, so Storm, give us a little more in depth. Now, I have a question either of you can answer. Is the main character Amish, or did she become Amish, or is she still English and just running an Amish store?
She's English and runs an Amish store.
And was her aunt Amish?
No, she just
No.
she's just English too, but she just really likes the place and the people that's there and everything.
Okay.
And a lot of what's going on in the story is Jacob the detective. He used to be Amish, but he's been excommunicated because he left the faith after being baptized. So he can't have anything to do with like his family that's there. So there's a really kind of a dynamics between that, and Claire a lot of times has to kind of help him with the Amish community to be able to have somebody that talks to them that will talk, so whenever he's like detecting or whatever, whenever the crime comes up, a lot of times they don't want anything to do with him. So it's really hard for him to have to be in that situation. And some people are like, well, why would you want to be here? But a part of him wants to be there because his family is there too.
And his family are not allowed to talk to him. Is that correct? No. Yeah.
And some of his family works with Clara. And so even though he's not supposed to talk to them, they're there kind of, and he kind of gets to talk to them a little bit.
Okay, so it's kind of an interesting dynamic. And I saw a little bit of discussion that you guys were having on the Discord group, and I didn't jump in. I was just kind of skimming through about shunning and excommunicating and everything. And I don't know a whole lot about it, but from what I understand, from what I've read in just fiction books, it can vary between different orders. So there's different orders, just like in Christianity, there's all different denominations. Within Amish, there's different types of origins and different ways of the way that they fellowship and live. So it depends on, some are more strict than others. But like you said, if they have joined the church and then decide to leave, that's when they're shunned. I think if they decide, like after their Rumspringa, that they're not going to join the church, then they could just turn English and they're not shunned.
That's right.
Seems kind of like it would work at cross purposes to me, because why would you shun someone if you want to bring them back in? But I've read a few books where someone was shunned and they hated it so much that it made them want to come back to the faith, So I think that's the thought process behind it, and I'm not judging one way or the other, but like I think Ro was saying, it's just an interesting culture to read about and to learn about. So
See, that's Claire's problem. That's the thing. Like Claire doesn't understand is because she knows Jacob and he's such a nice man, and she doesn't understand why they would shun him. But they will be okay and bring in people that have done something bad, and they will be okay with it and try to help them, but yet they won't, let their own person back in, or that's her dilemma with the whole Amish thing. She really respects a lot of the stuff that they do and how they live, but she just doesn't understand that part.
From what I understand, they have to go to classes once they're shunned. If they want to come back, they have to go to classes and get reinstated into the church. And until they do that, they are out.
Yeah, they mentioned the term English, so I'm assuming that's someone that's not Amish. And I wasn't aware that you had. So I did see that after the rum, whatever. I had to look up what that meant.
Rumspringa.
Yeah, and so you had to be baptized, and if you choose to be baptized, then you're Amish. So Claire is just they're accepting her because they're talking to her and everything, and she's selling their stuff, so they're accepting her, but she hasn't been baptized yet.
It's because she's English, and you can talk to Englishers, and they don't have to be Amish. The Amish can talk to other people, and she's just an Englisher that works there, and so she has nothing really to do with the Amish faith.
But so far in the first book, she's accepting the life, she's living the life. But
she likes how quiet and how nice and stuff it is in that town, but she's not exactly Amish.
And I'm sure in the other books it will progress. And then I wasn't aware that her aunt wasn't fully Amish. I didn't know she was English because it's assumed she's just oh, I love my life. I love cooking and gardening and running the inn. So I just assumed that she was born into it. Interesting. I look forward to all the backstory on that stuff.
Yeah, and it's interesting that because I haven't started it yet. So usually those kind of things ought to be made clear right at the beginning. So I'm kind of surprised that they're not, because I know in the Amanda Flower books, I'm pretty sure it's been a couple years since I read A Salted Caramel, but the main character is helping her grandparents run the store, and they are Amish. And I think she's not, because either her father or mother, whoever was their child, left and never became Amish. So she's able to communicate with her grandparents, even though she's not Amish, but she didn't leave the church or anything. It was her parent that did, I believe. Is that, have any of you guys read Amish Candy Shop?
I just started it. I'm about 2 hours into the audiobook on the first one. And so, I don't remember. I think it was their daughter that left after Rumspringa and everything, so they can talk to her and everything.
Yeah, so now they own this candy shop, and they're getting older, and so she has come she's a chocolatier, I think, from New York, has made a name for herself there, but now she's come back to help them in the store. And so she's got to decide if she's going to stay there and help run the store, or if she's going to go back to her fancy, English life. So
from the little bit of the Laura Bradford that I've read, I've only read half of it. It seems traditional, so I have a feeling, I don't know though, that the Amish candy shop maybe is a little less traditional Amish, but I'm not sure.
I think Amanda Flower does have experience living in Amish country, and that's, I think, true. I don't know the history of all Amish writers. I think, you write what you know. So most of the people who write about Amish do have some experiences with them. And I don't know about Wanda Brunstetter, but I know that Beverly Lewis grew up in Amish country. And I don't know, I believe her father was a pastor, maybe, I don't know if it's Mennonite or Baptist, somewhere very close. So she grew up very close to Amish people and knew them well. And so it was kind of a natural progression. She wrote some children's books first, and then she started writing about Amish life. I think her first series, it was either the Heritage of Lancaster County, or it was the Postcard and the Crossroad. This was my first Amish book ever, and I love it. And Allie, have you ever read this one?
Which one is it?
It's the Postcard.
Yeah,
because the main character is blind, and I was just wondering if you had read that. What now?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, what do you call now? I know she is full. Is there a term? What's the terminology if you are completely blind? Is that it? You just say completely blind, or because I know you're legally blind, but you can still see some. So what's the terminology that's correct? Educate us a little bit.
Okay, so if you're fully blind, I think they just say blind. But
Okay.
If you're like me and you have partial vision, you
Mhm.
either say low vision or visually impaired.
Okay. So, but I think this is good because sometimes, when you do a readathon or whatever, you may have a prompt where you're looking for something with a disability representation or whatever. And so, so this is a good one for that because the main character is blind, and I don't think she was born blind. I think she had been in a car accident. She'd been in a buggy accident, and her husband was killed, and she was blinded. And she's got a little girl, and this is a duology. If you go on Goodreads, you'll see that there's 3 in this series, but the third one is really a standalone that they just tacked on to the end of this collection. But the Postcard and the Crossroad were my first 2 Amish books, and they are faith-based. So it's kind of confusing a little bit because just because, some people, if they ever read one of these like Beverly Lewis books, she's coming at it from a Christian perspective, and the Amish faith is not necessarily what you would consider Christian. They are not, their focus is not necessarily on Jesus like a Christian. Their focus is more on the lifestyle. They do worship God, but it's more of their lifestyle, and the Ordnung is their written thing that they go by.
I think that's like their commandments or whatever.
Yeah. So you have different, kind of different subgenres even of Amish fiction. So you have like Beverly Lewis writes Christian fiction that's, typically romance with some, conflict in it. And then Wanda Brunstetter, hers are, I think, a little lighter on the faith-based aspect.
Yeah. And there's some of hers that like the Cooking Class trilogy. I don't know if you've read that, Elizabeth.
I haven't. I've read Half Stitched Sewing, the Quilting Club, but I haven't read the cooking ones yet.
But like some of those characters in the Cooking Class trilogy aren't actually Amish.
Right. So I think those are good. Books like that are really good entrees into Amish fiction, because if you don't want to just read, immerse yourself in like an Amish family, you could read the Wanda Brunstetter series, like the Half Stitched Amish Quilting Club or the Amish Cooking Class, where it's an Amish person teaching a group of people who are from all walks of life some kind of Amish skill. And those are fun books. I would highly recommend those. I don't have a copy of the quilting one. I gave it to my sister, but I do have the cooking one, and it's in my other room. I didn't bring it in here, but yeah, those are good. So then you've got also some other more faith-based inspirational books like Beth Wiseman and Amy Clipson and them, but they're, I think, a little lighter on the faith aspect than Beverly Lewis. Hers definitely are Christian books, and I think she does a really good job with them. Then typically cozy, like if you have a cozy mystery, most of those are not faith-based, but they can be like fairly clean. Like Amanda Flower, she has another series, starts with the is it Amish of Appleseed Creek? And I meant to bring one of those in here and I didn't get in here with it, but I've read the first one. It's called A Plain Death. And that one's very clean, but not faith-based or anything like that. But well, I take that back. She does talk about him going to church and stuff, like Mennonite church. But then my sister just let me know about this one, which is interesting because this is published by a Christian publisher and it's a cozy mystery that has a murder in it. So that's kind of a mix of all of it, which you don't really find. Usually it's kind of one or the other. And I've heard nothing but good things about this one. It's called Falling to Pieces. And I think maybe it was you, Alli, that told me this was on Scribd. Somebody told me that this is on Scribd.
Yeah, I read that one.
There's 3 of these, and I've got the first 2 now because my sister gave me the second one on my trip. It's called A Perfect Square, and then I forget what the third one is called. But these apparently are very, very good, and so I'm looking forward to getting
I only read
to
the
those.
first one, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it.
Good. And then you've got at the far other end, like Sarah's reading the Elinda Castillo books, and those are very gritty and not clean. So in that premise, the main character was born Amish. She decided to leave and become English, I think, before her. She was never baptized into the Amish faith, so she still could talk to her family. Her family are Amish. She became English and stayed in the community and became a police detective. So she's got that ability to be English and work as a detective, but if some kind of crime happens in the Amish community, she can deal with it because they know her and they trust her and to an extent, as much as they would trust an English person.
Those books look interesting.
Yeah. I've read the first one. It's pretty dark and definitely gritty, but still, set in Amish country, counts for Amish in April, but it's not a feel good book. So you really have the whole spectrum, all within what could count for Amish in April Readathon.
And with the cozy mystery that I started, at least, Laura Bradford, there is a little bit of faith talk, but not much so far.
Okay.
But they have, mentioned God and some of their beliefs. And I found one really interesting. She was handcrafting dolls to sell in the shop, one of the characters, and they don't have faces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like vanity thing, or
well, it's they take that commandment literally about a graven image. That's why they don't like to have their pictures taken. They don't want to copy an image of a person because they think that is against the commandment, like the 10 Commandments. So they don't like their pictures taken. They don't put faces on their dolls or faces on anything because that's considered an image, a graven image.
And they mentioned they'll have like one mirror and it's normally in the kitchen, so you don't look at yourself too long, type of thing.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
And they said they normally don't have mirrors, but if they do, it's just one and it's normally in the kitchen. And they did mention the photo thing, that normally if a photo is taken of an Amish person, it's not from their consent, like it's normally taken from someone else of them. Yeah.
The first time I ever heard anything about Amish was when I was pretty young, and my dad had made a trip to New York, and he, I guess, I don't know if he made a stop in Pennsylvania or if there's some Amish in New York, but he stopped and chatted with the man, and I guess he was just asking him about that, and I think he did ask, if he could take a picture, and the guy was like, no, I'd rather you didn't, and so he respected that. So, I guess it never hurts to ask. Just respect that's how they live, and if they don't want their pictures taken, then you shouldn't take their picture. So. All right. What else? Anybody else want to talk about what did you say you're reading right now, Alli?
The
Shelley Shepherd Gray.
Shelley Shepherd Gray.
And is it part of a series? I think you already answered that, but I forgot what you said.
Secrets of Crittenden County. It's the second book.
Second book. Have you read the first one, or do you read out of order?
The Missing.
The Missing. Okay.
Yeah, I just finished that.
And would you recommend it? Did you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Where does it take place? Is it Pennsylvania or Ohio or where?
I think, where does this one take? Kentucky.
Kentucky. Oh, okay. I didn't realize they had an Amish community in Kentucky. Well, that's cool. Well, I was gonna first of all, I want to show this again, and I'll probably show this even again in another video. This was sent to me by a subscriber, May Olson. It's Amish Outsider by Marta Perry, and I have not read Marta Perry, and I'm not sure
read
what
her.
her style is. Have you read any of her Amish books? She
Yeah,
writes Amish stuff too,
I
right?
read. That's one of the ones I read like a long time ago. I remember reading her.
Is it
I liked
mostly
her.
romance?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm excited. I have not read anything by her. I think Sarah has talked about her.
She used to be, I don't know now, but they used to have that love inspired like series.
Yeah.
And she used to be in that a lot with.
Okay.
Isn't that the Harlequins?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes hers were romantic suspense. So
I just picked this one up on my trip. It's called Plain Threats. It's not Marta Perry, but it is a love-inspired suspense. It's by Allison Stone. I thought I had another love-inspired suspense Amish book, but I can't put my hand on it. And then I have some others. It must be in that stack of books I meant to bring in here, and I don't know. I left them somewhere. It's terrible. I'll go through my house like gathering stuff, and then I'll lay something down to like do something else, and then I don't know where it is. I'll go back later, and there'll be stuff everywhere. But yeah, there's love inspired, the plain love inspired, and then love inspired suspense. Both of those lines have some Amish themed books.
yeah.
So I have not read any of the Amish ones yet. I've only read really a handful of love inspired books. I think I've only read one love inspired, and then I have just about finished the military canine unit series, which is love inspired suspense, not Amish. It's just a military canine series.
I'm just trying to imagine what even an Amish romance is. So it's like their normal life with some like them like a love potential thrown in.
Well, no, it's their courting because they court, and there's usually a conflict, like for whatever reason. Sometimes the romance will be between someone who's not Amish and someone who's Amish, and so one or the other has to decide, what they're going to do. And then sometimes you'll have. They're really good at like the second chance romance. I've read several where like maybe someone will move or think he's not worthy or whatever, and he'll just leave, and then maybe 10 years later come back, and this other person has just been like, either they've been waiting or they didn't wait and got married, and then they became widowed, and then now they have the opportunity to get back together with this former love. There's all kinds of situations. The difference is that they're just very clean, and they court the old-fashioned way, buggy rides, and not a lot of kissing. Even if there's kissing, that's probably not allowed. And so it's just more centered on the relationship, the families, and the setting and their lifestyle.
And that's what I like.
Yeah, I do too. I do
like
too.
Amish fiction, because it's more centered on the, not the
there's no sex or anything like that. Now there is one by Cindy Woodsmall that I thought was very, very different. And I don't want to say too much about it, but like this Amish family, the man he's like, it shows him in the beginning kind of sneaking off, and then she thinks that he is having an affair, and that would just be unheard of. It's a very interesting book, and it's called The English Daughter, I think. The English Daughter. Yeah. So there's this child who could possibly be his child, but the mother is an Englisher. So that's an interesting take. That's by Cindy Woodsmall. It's one of her newer ones. But this one I brought in here because I'm going to finish this series this month. This is called The Fiddler. And this is one way where she kind of brings in English stuff into the Amish world. In this book, this girl is a a violinist. She is very, can't think of the word. She's a very successful violinist, and she plays with like this big group, like in New York or whatever. And as a secret sideline, she has been playing the fiddle with a country band at country music festivals, kind of like in disguise, like under a totally different name. And her agent, who handles her career as a violinist in the early on, finds out, and so she has to kind of come clean, and then she doesn't know what she wants to do, because she really enjoys kind of letting loose and playing the fiddle and being and doing that kind of as a secondary thing. So when she's trying to decide what to do, she's trying to get back home to New York after being at this country.
Doesn't that series tie into the Confession and the Shunning, and is it the Reckoning series?
I don't think it ties in. It may be in the same community. There may be some crossover characters.
I thought you had to read that series before you read.
I don't think so. And I want to talk about the Shunning too in a minute, because that's one of her older ones. But in this book, how she meets, she's in a storm and her car breaks down. And so she gets out, and she's trying to or I can't even remember now. Somehow she ends up, her car breaks down, and she sees this little cabin, and she sees a light on, and she knocks on the door, and this guy is there, and he is also trying to decide if he is going to stay Amish. He really wants to be, I think, a writer, maybe, or he wants to do something that his family kind of frowns on. So, anyway, she needs help, so he takes her back to his family farm, and she ends up staying there until they can get her car repaired. And that's the first of this series. So then, like, the second book is about his sister and her always being a bridesmaid, never a bride. So it just goes on. So you don't necessarily have to read some of these in order. Each of them has their own story, but they're connected. But what she was talking about was the Shunning, which I have here somewhere. That is the one of the early books that I ever read. This is one of Beverly Lewis's early books, and I'm hearing an echo. Sorry. This is about a girl who was raised Amish, and then she's up in the attic looking for something and finds this strange English baby outfit in her mother's trunk and starts asking about it. And her parents are like, that you don't need to worry about that. And so she starts investigating and finds that her birth may have not been exactly what she thought it was. And it goes from there. But anyway,
is that one a movie? Really, did they make that into a movie?
Yes.
Yeah. They did with Danielle. I'm trying to remember her last name.
She was a Disney Channel star.
I think it's
Panabaker.
Maybe.
Yeah. Say it again. What was the last name?
Panabaker?
Panabaker, yeah. Danielle Panabaker.
That's how you say it?
I think so. So somebody's got, I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if it's me or if somebody has the show on another device or something. I don't know. But I'm only hearing it every once in a while. It may be something that's my fault. I'm sorry if it is. All right, how are we doing? We've got like 10 minutes left before my daughter has to get back on here for school. So I have been completely ignoring the comments. I am so sorry. Let's see who else is commenting. So we've got Sophia and Tiffany, Cheryl, hi, Kimberly's here, Debbie, hey Debbie, Gisela, hi, Breezy Ann, Natalie, and everybody gave up talking because I was like ignoring the comments, and I'm sorry. Hi everybody out there who's watching. There's 11 people watching right now. Thank you so much. So Gisela says that Falling to Pieces is her next read. That's this one here. So yay. Let me know how you like it. I have had a hard time getting much Amish books read. I'll show you the one that I think I finished this one, but I can't remember how it ended. What did I do with it? It's the first one in the Guidepost series, the Sugar Creek Amish Mysteries. This is books 2 and 3. The first one is Blessings in Disguise, which I don't know where it is, but
and did you like that one?
Yes, I did. I really did. Nancy Mell is the author. I had not ever read anything by her. And yeah, there's only like 4 of these on Hoopla, the first 3 and then the 25th one. And I'm like,
Well, that's kind of
what?
the
I
first 3 and
know.
then book 25.
I know. Like,
I
what's
hate
up
when
with that?
they do that. Or they'll have like books 4, 5, and 6, or like 15, 16, but not the beginning. I'm like, what?
I know. What's up with that? I'm hoping that they'll add the others on there. Maybe it's just they're adding them slowly. But I want to say that I first saw them on there, that they were all there. But sometimes the licensing runs out for these things and it takes them a while to get them back on there. Sometimes things show up on my library that may not show up on yours. There was some series a few years ago that another booktuber was talking about having it on Hoopla. And so I was searching and I said, it's not on my Hoopla. And so I called the library and they said, yeah, different libraries can, it's basically click a button if you want this book, or this book, or this group of books or something. Like I was reading the Robin Hobb books and they were on there and I started reading them. I started listening to them. And then all of a sudden they disappeared and I still needed one more. And so I called the library and I'm like, they fell off. Can you put them back on or something? And so within another month they showed back up. So you could always call your library for any kind of a thing like that. And they can do as much as they can to try to add
And
them
I'm not
on,
sure.
whatever.
I'm not sure if you know, but they just this year they added the Laura Bradford Amish series, all of them on Hoopla on audio. It says 2021. So
I did
once
not
I tried,
know. Yay.
yeah, on mine, I'm pretty sure they're all there. Let me double check.
They're not
Yeah, it
on
says,
mine.
no.
No.
It says 2021. I have it right there.
Right.
Hearse and Buggy. Sometimes when you search for the title, stuff shows up and it doesn't, and then you could search for the author too. So,
Well, and
I looked-
sometimes things are misspelled, and you have to search. If you can't
I
find the
looked
author,
for
search
this
the
one and
title.
I couldn't find it because I was going to listen to the audio and
Shunned and Dangerous. That's on mine. Suspended. Let me see.
yeah, suspended sentence.
Call your library, Storm.
Oh, they have the first 3 only. My bad. I thought it was all of them. But they have the first 3 on there, so I might try the second one on audio.
Yeah. And
that's a
sometimes it
shame
just
it's
takes
not.
time.
Yeah, because the first 3 were all 2021, so they might come out with the other 2 on there.
Yeah. I was reading a Lori Copeland series last year, and it seemed like I was always one ahead. I had read the first 3 in print, and then those 3 showed up on audio, but the 4th one wasn't. So I went ahead and read the 4th one, and then it showed up. And finally, I waited long enough that I searched. Just before I was going to start the next one, I searched, and the audio were on there for the last 2. And I was like, yay. And then I ended up hating the narrator.
Oh,
So
no.
I was like,
I hate when that happens.
I was so appreciative that they were on audio. So, I have to give grace. So I'm looking on Goodreads instead of Hoopla. Duh. I'm looking at the wrong thing to see if it's on mine. It probably is. I hope it is.
Yeah, a narrator can make or break an audiobook for sure.
Yeah. So, Alli, you listen to primarily audio. That's primarily how you consume your books. Are there any narrators that you...
Either audio or ebook with the text-to-speech thing.
Okay.
That's it.
So who are some of your favorite narrators, like especially of the Amish books? Like, does pretty much the same person narrate all of Beverly Lewis? Who are some narrators that stand out to you?
Oh, I'm trying to remember her name. It's Callie something. She narrates all of the
Is it Callie Bouyer?
There you go. Yeah. She narrates.
She's great. I like her.
Yeah, she's really good.
She does cozy mysteries too.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, good. That's good.
She narrates a lot of Amy Clipston's books. I'm trying to remember. If I hear her voice, I know who it is, but I don't necessarily always remember like their names. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't always either until, maybe I hear them for the second or third time. And then I'll be like, oh, I think I've heard that narrator before.
I've only
So-
gotten into audiobooks the last few years, and it was really interesting to me the first time that I would get used to a narrator on a series, and then I'd start another series and I'd hear their voice and I'd have to like make a disconnect because I'm thinking of the other characters in my head. But now I'm so used to like repeat narrators that it's fine. But at first I was like, whoa, wait, no, this is this character. It's not this character.
So now on my Hoopla, I've only got 1 and 3. I've got Hearse and Buggy and Shunned and Dangerous. So that's weird.
And
At
you
least
click.
those are the only ones connected. I clicked on.
Okay, sometimes when you click on the series, it doesn't work. Did you click
It-
on just Laura Bradford?
Yeah, and what's the second one? Is it Assaulted Pretzel?
Yeah, I have that one. I
Okay,
have
all
Shunned
right,
and
it's here.
Dangerous. Okay.
It's just not linked to the series. And then she's got some other cozy mysteries on here too. That
And
are
then
on
she has
here.
Portrait of a Sister. That one looks Amish.
Yeah, it does look like there's some other. Now here's one I never heard of. I don't know why it's on here under Laura Bradford. Oh, maybe it's a. There's something called the Amish Sweet Shop, and I think it has multiple authors.
I sent that to you, remember? And I think you're saying it was like short story romance.
And
I
I
think
forgot
Tiffany
about
asked her
it.
about that. I think Tiffany asked her
Okay.
about that, and she says it was like a group author short story romance
Neat.
thing.
Yeah, it's
And then
got
it looks
Emma
like she
Miller
has-
and Mary Ellis.
And then it looks like she has Piece by Piece and A Daughter's Truth. So
Yeah, it looks
She
like she has
definitely
regular
has-
romances on here.
some other Amish, yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
Amanda Flower has 3 Amish cozy mystery series now. Well, I don't know if the Apple one, Apple Creek, isn't. I don't know if that's cozy, but then she also has the new matchmaking one, which is a spinoff of the Amish Candy.
Oh, is it a spinoff? I did not realize
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Tiffany
I would
likes
consider
it.
Appleseed Creek cozy. Yeah, because it's amateur sleuth and it's not super gritty. They're just, for some reason, they're in trade paperback instead of mass market paperback, which makes you think it's different, but I don't know. I think they're just older. That series is good. It's about a young woman who has gotten a job as the tech manager at a college, and the college is in a town which also has a big Amish community. And I really enjoyed it. And I think that may have been one of her early series because that is very similar to her life. She, I think, is a college librarian, or was when she first started writing. So she, that seems like she was kind of writing what she knew, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I think it's interesting to look up authors and see what their history is with the Amish, because you kind of wonder, do they know what they're talking about? Are they just making it up as they go? And like I was saying earlier, different Amish orders are different. So, you might find one that's, you're like, this is not what I thought it was, but maybe it's just a different group of Amish people that was their experience. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely interesting to look up like what they, how much research. Well, I know they do a lot of research, but like what the research entails with their writing. Like, do they have a friend that helps them with their Amish books? Were they raised in Amish country like Beverly, Lewis? Anything like that. It's always interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's look at the comments here. Giselle says she's reading Hearse and Buggy right now. That's awesome. Sissy has to leave. Bye. Her name is Kim. She will tell you on her videos. You can call her Kim or Sissy. Cheryl says, because we're talking about movies. Witness with Harrison Ford. Yeah, that was one of the early ones that I remember having anything to do with Amish country. And then Cheryl says, I remember a reality series about young Amish people during Rumspringa. Yeah, I think that one, they kind of, they were trying to just be scandalous,
Yeah, it was on TLC, and it was called like Breaking Amish, and it was all about them going crazy, and then they had to decide if they wanted to go back.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm to each his own, but I think if I was a parent, I would have a hard time. The book that I was listening to, Blessings in Disguise, I think they were talking about, it's the one that's the guidepost. They were talking about why parents, why they're okay with that. And they said it's because they want the kids to decide for themselves. They don't want to force them into that life and then be unhappy or not be able to be true to it, so that's why they allow that. But I would just be so worried that they would just make some horrible life-changing mistakes that you could never come back from. But
yeah, Storm was saying in the Discord that she likes some of the aspects of Amish life, but that she has a problem with the communication thing after they're shunned. And yeah, that's crazy. Like, imagine your kid decides they don't want to do it, and you can never speak to them again. Like,
yeah, for sure. And that's kind of one of the situations in this book, The Shunning, but this is a really good book. This whole series, I think, is really good. So I would recommend it for sure. It's one of her older ones, and I need to read some of her newer ones. I've got a bunch of them on my shelf. In fact, one of the videos I need to make this week, now that I'm finally back from my trip and getting kind of back in the swing of things, is to do a shelf tour of all my Amish books. And I've collected some more Beverly Lewis books and things like that. So that's coming soon. All right. Anybody else out there in comment land have anything you want to add before we head out? Oh, here's Donna. Hi, Donna. She says you were discussing Laura Childs series. No, we were discussing Laura Bradford. Does Laura Childs she doesn't have any Amish books, I don't think.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. She might. Did you mean Laura Bradford? Oh yeah, she meant Laura. She said sorry, I meant Laura Bradford. Yeah, too many Lauras. Yeah. So you're reading the next two. That's awesome. How many are in that series? Do you know, Storm? In the Laura Bradford
not
series?
really. I don't know.
I was gonna look it up. I'm kind of a finisher, so if I start a series, I gotta make a plan to finish it.
Yeah, I'm hoping my library has them all, because I'll be really upset if they don't.
Well, I'm always book shopping. If they don't, let me know and I'll try to help you find them.
They have 7. The last one is a Christmas theme.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what I was going to say about
oh yeah, what is their Christmas
there
like?
are some great Christmas ones, and a lot of different Amish series, romance, and apparently
Oh, we lost Alli. I just realized.
have a Christmas book. Oh, okay. Oh, she's here. Hang on.
Okay.
She's back.
Sorry
about that.
My internet.
It's okay.
Decided to screw up on me.
So, no problem. I was just thinking there's a couple of series that, and it's typical, I think, for any book series to have, you've got your whole series of books, and then you maybe throw in a Christmas one. And Shelley Shepherd Gray has a series like that, where I think it's the Sisters of the Heart, where there's 4 books in the series, and the very last one is a Christmas themed book. But then there's another one, Cindy Woodsmall, I think, has a series, and that all these books must be in the stack I didn't get in here with. Cindy Woodsmall has a series where the first 3 books are Christmas themed, and then the very last one is not. It's called The Scent of Cherry Blossoms. And I'm like,
that's interesting.
I know, it's like all Christmas and then not. Like Thomas Kincaid has the Cape Light series, where the first 4 books are not Christmas at all, and then it's like an 18-book series, and all the rest of them are Christmas except for those first 4. I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense, but it's like maybe they started out one way and then just decided to go a different direction, and just maybe they were popular and stuck with that. I don't know. It was weird.
I think the Shelley Shepherd Gray series, her Pinecraft series, is also that way, where they have like 4 books in the series, and then either the 3rd or the 4th one is a Christmas series.
The one that ends with Grace, I think it's the Sisters of the Heart, I think is that one, and I own that one. That's the one that starts out hidden, I think.
Oh yeah, that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it ends with the Christmas one.
And then
yeah, because I'm really drawn to Christmas books. Whenever, usually October or November, our library, friends of the library will save the Christmas books and not put them out until Christmas season. So I always look forward to that whenever I go to the library and I look in the sale area, and they'll have like this whole shelf of Christmas books, and I'm just like, yay, the Christmas books, and I'll just be grabbing them, and there's always some Amish ones, and that's how I ended up collecting that series, because I first found Grace because it was a Christmas book, and then realized it was a 4th in a series. So then of course I had to go back and find the other 3, because I can't start with book 4.
You have to start with book 1.
Yeah.
I can't read things out of order.
Me neither.
I don't like to. So, all right. So Cheryl says the second Linda Castillo book is very gritty. Did you read the first one, Cheryl? Because I said that I know I've read the first one. It's gritty. I think that whole series is probably very gritty. If Sarah and I can put together a live stream at the end of Amish in April, then she will talk about the Linda Castillo.
Gritty sounds right up my alley.
Does it? Yeah. So I don't mind gritty. I just don't like a lot of foul language, and a lot of times they go hand in hand. So if we can leave off the language and just have a good story, I don't have a problem with that. Well, hello, there's Carm. He says, hello, Elizabeth and friends, dropping by to say hi. Hey, Carm. Carm is a booktuber and also he's in the vinyl community. He does videos about record albums and his collection of albums and things. Did y'all know there's like a community for every kind of group?
Yeah, you're
on
saying
YouTube.
that.
Yeah.
Allie, I wanted to ask
Carm.
you, have you ever read the author Samantha Price, her Amish books? We discovered her last weekend. Someone mentioned her, and Elizabeth hadn't heard of her, and she has a ton of Amish books.
I know. I looked her up.
Go ahead. I've heard of her, but I haven't read her.
Okay.
Should I?
I don't know much about her, but someone was saying that they liked her, and then when we looked her up, she just has a ton of series. And I'm not sure, where they fall on the spectrum, but there's like 7 Amish Bachelor series, an Amish Bonnet Sisters series, an Amish Widow series. So there's like a lot.
Huh, I'll have to look that up.
You should try and let us know.
Yeah.
I definitely will. Thank you for letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to see like who the publisher is. Sometimes you can kind of tell by that. It just says Amish romance. So it may be faith-based, it may not be. I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, some of the names of her series sounded really fun. So I definitely want to check her out. I need to go to my library website and see. Have you looked on Hoopla to see if there's any of hers on Hoopla?
I'll check right now for you.
Okay, awesome. Well, guys, it is 12:39 here, and I need to get my daughter back on here for school. Her school started back up 9 minutes ago, and I was not paying attention to the time. So I need to kind of wrap this up, but I appreciate all you guys coming on here. Go ahead. It is on Hoopla? Oh, great.
Yeah, there's quite a few, yeah.
Oh, great. Very good. Yeah, as soon as I find out if something's on audio, then that usually means I can get to it a lot faster than if, than otherwise. So I have got literally stacks and stacks of Amish books here to read, or ones that I have read, or ones that I don't have any hope of getting to. And I'm just excited about it. I'm like Allie. I was just watching your TBR, Allie, and you were saying that you had so many to read that you were probably going to just finish out the month and read Amish books all month. And I'm kind of the same way.
That's my plan.
My problem is that I have a book club book that I need to have read by Thursday. So
same. Well, mine's not Thursday, but I have one. I have 2 more books I got to read for me and Tiffany's things.
Yeah. And at least yours are cozy. Mine are not, and I have really no interest in them. One is a World War II book.
Why do you do that then?
I don't know. Well,
don't torture yourself.
I know, but I enjoy book club, and I was just saying this to somebody in the comments because I did a video about all the book club books that I was supposed to read this year, and even though it's hit and miss, sometimes by making myself read whatever we're reading, I end up, I'd say 1 out of every 3 or one out of every 4, I end up loving, and I wouldn't have picked it up otherwise. Yeah. So it's kind of worth it to at least dive in and see what it's about. And I generally do enjoy World War II books. This one is called, the one I've got to read for book club is called The Huntress by Kate Quinn. I think it's pretty dark, which is typical for World War II.
I've heard that one was pretty good, but it just doesn't look like one I would read.
I know.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Kate Quinn.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And the problem is I don't have any problem reading it. It's just that I didn't get it read before this, and now it's Amish in April and I want to read Amish books. So, that's the frustration of it all. But the other one that I had started, I've checked it out twice on Hoopla, and it's 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I have tried. I just can't get into it. So I'm going to give up on it for now.
I think
will
that
come
one's
back to
kind of
it.
hit or miss with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things about that one. I have no idea what it's about, but I've heard mixed things.
It's very confusing for some people, and so it's
Yeah.
hard to get into.
I don't
It's
like
kind
when
of
books try to be different and they just end up being confusing.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Groundhog Day sort of thing where this
Yeah.
person wakes up every day in a different suspect's body and like witnesses the murder from a different perspective. I think is how it is. But I will go back to it. But I don't have to read it for book club for a couple more months, and so I've got some time on it. I had just checked it out for March Mystery Madness because of the number, and that was going to be my number prompt, and then I didn't get it done, and so I renewed it, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I had just, so the frustrating thing is I've wasted 2 Hoopla borrows on it and still not going to have it done, and it expires in a couple days. So but I just can't do it right now. I don't want to, and I'm just I'm going to wait. I'm going to put it off. So anyway, all right, I'm rambling about things that are unrelated. So thank you, everybody. Does anybody, so Cheryl says that you're on page 80 of, this is book 2 in the Linda Castillo series, Pray for Silence. That is the name of it. So yeah, let us know, Cheryl, on the Discord, what you end up thinking about it.
And I bet you Sarah is just flying through the Amish books. I'm just imagining that. I'm waiting for that.
And I have not been, because I've been
Me
stuck
neither.
on these other 2 books, but I will. And even if I don't get a whole lot read by the end of the readathon, I'm going to keep going through the rest of the month. I have 6 Amish books checked out on my Hoopla right now. I have the first 3 of these, and then the last 3 of this series. And now that I know that this is on there, I will be listening to that.
I'll definitely finish the Laura Bradford series at some point. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, but you said you started Amanda Flower, or no? You have not yet.
Storm did. I'm going to do that next.
That's right. Okay.
I'm going to do that next. Yeah.
And I highly recommend the Amish Quilt Shop series. I finished it.
by Isabel Allen, her pen name. Yeah. Those aren't on audiobook, so it might take me a while to get to those, but
they are though. I listened to all of them on audio. Yeah, except for the novella. There's a novella that I had to read on my Kindle. They were on Hoopla, as far as I know, but they may have fallen off because sometimes that happens.
Since I had some time with the audios and stuff, and the Suspended Sentence wasn't on audio, and I have to actually read it, that's why I decided to try the Amish Candy Shop since it was on there.
Yeah, so
then I can maybe get 3 books in for Amish in April, where I was just going to have to. So.
Yeah, that's great. And you were talking about, I think in your video, about the prompt, that it has 9 prompts, and you're like, I don't have time for all that, I'm just going to do 3. But the challenge was just to read 3 books, like to
I just didn't know if my reads would connect or whatever. I was just,
and that's fine. It doesn't matter if they do or don't. It doesn't matter. It's just for fun. But
they're
don't
all
feel
on there.
any obligation to try to get in.
Whose series is that you're talking about? Quilting.
It's Isabella Allen, which is a pen name of Amanda Flower. It's the Amish Quilt Shop, and it looks like all 1, 2, 3, all 5 of them are on Hoopla audio.
There's 5 books and a novella.
Have to mark that.
Yes, but Storm, don't try to do it while you're reading the Candy Shop, because both series came from the same brain, even though it's a different pen name, same brain, and they follow a similar formula. So I made the mistake of reading first Quilt Shop, first Candy Shop in the same readathon, and I was getting them mixed up. And I realized I had to pick one and go with that. So that's what I did. I picked the Quilt Shop. I read all of those. I loved them.
That's why I was hesitant to try 2 series, but Tiffany keeps getting on me to do Amish Candy, so I'm going to try that too.
Well, hopefully hers and Laura's will be different.
They seem like they're pretty different.
Yeah, that's how I feel,
Yeah. But the pet, the dog in the Quilt Shop series makes the series. The dog is so great.
And then she said in the Amish Candy, there's a potbelly pig and goats. No, goats are in her other one. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's good at writing fun animals. So that's good. All right. Oh, Donna has already finished her 3rd Amish book. I think you're ahead of everybody, Donna. That's great. Finished it
3
this morning.
more.
So what 3 did you read? Did she already say that? She finished Pray for Silence. So it's the 2nd Kate Burkholder. and it's Shadow.
Wow.
Oh, it was like In Cold Blood. Okay, so that's the Truman Capote, right? And the
Yeah.
how do you say that? Villisca, Iowa murders. So hard to take. So yeah, I've heard that they're very dark.
Yeah, that doesn't sound cozy.
No, not at all, not at all. But if that's your thing, then
Definitely something I would read.
totally counts for Amish in April. What else did you read, Donna? She didn't say yet. Are you still there?
Yeah, you should try that series. Sarah talks about it on her channel on Bookish Knitter. She's been reading one a year for the readathon.
I think the word silence is in most of them, not all of them, but the first one is sworn to silence.
I read the gritty stuff and then I use cozies to kind of ease it out, and so
Yeah.
You're a palate cleanser, cozy reader.
Yeah, I will stick with the lighter stuff for the majority of the time. That's my preference.
What else do you read, Alli, besides Amish romance?
You guys mean like just regular, like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. A lot
Like
of
what other
stuff,
genres?
a lot of cleaner stuff, but I do read a lot of romance.
Okay. Awesome.
You read the guest list with me, didn't you, for March Mystery Madness?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you end up thinking of that? Did you like it or no? No.
No.
I read that author's first book and I didn't like it, so I haven't even tried the guest list.
I have heard more bad stuff about her other book than the
didn't
guest
like
list. Yeah, yeah. And the problem with it is there's so many unlikable characters, and even the ones they're just like, one of the main characters is just this entitled male who thinks he can just run over anybody and everybody to get what he wants, and there's just hardly any people that you can get behind in the book. So it was tough. It was an interesting twist how it all came together at the end, but just getting to that was tough. So
It was a struggle.
I'm
next
reading
year-
I'm reading one of those kind of books right now where I'd rather read
Yeah.
anything but that book, but I'm trying to finish it.
Oh, well, you do want to tell us what it is?
It's called Near the Bone by Christina Henry, and I think this is my last time trying this author because I just don't like her books that well. I loved one book that she wrote, but I haven't been able to like any since then. And I'm buddy reading it with my friend, and she's liking it more than I am. But it's just got this character, and I don't like the person. And it's kind of a horror, and there's a creature in there, and I'm hoping he gets ate.
Oh my goodness.
And then I noticed you and Elizabeth both like middle grade too. You guys both read middle grade.
I like middle grade.
And I'm going to be reading some more middle grade for May. We used to do a readathon called Middle Grade May back before it started, way before Middle Grade March, and it kind of got left in the dust.
Did.
Yeah. Hang on, let me read Donna's comment. So she finished Lethal Licorice, Pray for Silence, and Plain Pursuit. Oh, Plain Pursuit is that the one? Is that book 2 in the Amanda Flower series? The one I have, I think it's the one I have checked out to read. Donna. So yeah, and in fact, thank you for bringing that up because I was going to say something about that. So Middle Grade May was started by Akos with K is her channel. She's still got a channel. Her stuff is still up, but she hardly has any time. She's a full-time mom, and full-time job and mom, and she just doesn't have time to do BookTube right now or anything. And so she's officially retiring Middle Grade May, but she gave Beth and I the go ahead if we wanted to do something. So Elizabeth Tyree and I, throughout all of Middle Grade May, we've been doing a challenge for May called Book a Day in May, because we were reading middle grade books, so that's pretty easy to do, book a day. So I just met her in person. She was on my in my vlog, but we didn't get a chance to talk about what we wanted to do. So I got to get with her and see. I kind of have an idea to maybe do Book a Day in May and incorporate middle grade, if anybody wants to do middle grade May or any kind of children's books or anything, and just kind of, so as not to take over middle grade May, but just kind of give an ode to it, and just keep doing what we started, which is Book a Day in May.
I could never do a book a day, even if it's middle grade. I'm too slow of a reader.
It could be a poetry book, it could be a graphic novel, it could be a children's book. I mean, it could be go dog go, any book a day, it really wouldn't matter. And maybe do some Instagram challenges, like, show if you didn't want to read a book a day, show a book a day, do a post of a book a day at Instagram,
That's funny
something like
because
that.
for myself, I had my own thing. I've thought of this in February. I want to do nothing but Kindle Unlimited audiobooks and ebooks in May. And I was going to try to do one a day.
Yeah,
so,
well, there you go. There you go. Yeah. It just has a nice ring to it. I like for things to be wrapped up in a little package,
Because
so
most Kindle Unlimited books are under 200 pages. Some of them are over, but so I thought that'd be a fun little challenge for myself.
Yeah. Well, join in. Book a day in May.
I didn't know most Kindle Unlimited books were under 200 pages. I
didn't either.
Well, not most of them, but there are a lot of them. Well, the Cozy Mysteries, at least, there's a lot of them that are like 150, 170, but then I was seeing some that are over 300. It just depends. And I'm going to try some of both. I'm in the middle of some series. I'm going to try a new series. I just got like a 12-month membership, like on deal, like 40% off a Kindle Unlimited. So I'm like really excited to focus on it.
That's cool.
Because I try to read a few a month. I try to read a few Kindle Unlimited a month, but I feel like it's a hidden gem, like from all different genres. But like, there's a lot of cozy mysteries for indie authors that's just their way to get their books out. And there's some series that have like over 20 books, and so I'm excited.
So Cheryl says, I read so much from Middle Grade March, and that's true. Now that Middle Grade March has become so big, that's kind of why I was thinking to just stick with middle grade, to stick with a book a day in May, because for those of us who did mostly mysteries, I'm ready for some middle grade now because I hardly read any in March, but a lot of people read a lot of middle grade in March, and so they're not ready for a whole nother month of middle grade. So that's why I'm
always ready for middle grade.
I
find
excited.
It so funny that you love middle grade and horror. Like, that's so funny.
And I like spooky middle grade.
Yeah, there's some fun spooky ones. I remember as a kid. All right, Donna says Plain Pursuit. Oh, by Allison Stone. So is that from this same series? Because this is Allison Stone, Plain Threats. I bet it is for the same series. Okay, cool. I haven't even looked this up to see where this falls. I just grabbed this at one of the bookstores that I went to on my trip. Is that, I can't see the title. Plain Pursuit. Okay, awesome. So first Apple Creek Love Inspired Suspense series.
And just so you know, Elizabeth, I've seen you show stuff on Goodreads. If you click the picture, it pops it up big.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you. Okay.
And then you just slide it down. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheryl said she read 43 books.
Ooh, 43.
That's a lot of middle grade.
It sure is. Way more than a book a day. That's awesome. Good job. Do you have, I don't know, are we Goodreads friends, Cheryl? If we're not, my link will be in the description. So friend me on Goodreads so I can find you. I'd love to see what all you read. See if we have any of the same books. Yeah, she's still listening. Too. So were a lot of yours on audio? So she's still listening to middle grade. Yeah, I love middle grade books. And in fact, at the end of this month, they will publish the new Sunshine State list, which is the Florida recommended reading list for next school year. So I like to get a head start on those and read those during the summer and in May and everything. So
you always have so many projects going on.
That's me. And my family wishes I would get with the project of like all these boxes of papers in my living room that need to be gone through. That's a project that I need to do.
Your organizing book that you got that you were going to read every day from.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I haven't even finished that. I haven't picked that up lately and I need to. I tend to like stretch myself too thin with all these different things and then I don't end up, finishing any of them in a reasonable amount of time. Eventually I'll finish them, but it takes me a while.
I always want to do projects like that, but if I mention the fact that I'm going to do it, then it never gets done. It's like readathons. I'm going to do this readathon and then nothing happens.
You don't like telling yourself what to do.
Yeah.
Well, see, this time you proved yourself wrong because you've been reading.
I'm trying to get better at it, but yeah. A lot of times I fail the readathons, but this time I'm doing pretty good. But I actually like these books that I'm reading. And I think sometimes I pick out, and I'm really moody, so sometimes I pick out books that fit like the prompts or something, and then I'm not really into it. So a lot of times I'm like, I'm just going to loosely participate and I'm going to read what I want. And see, look, here it is.
Yeah,
I have
there
an
you go.
easier time. I have an easier time when the prompts are loose. Like when it's really specific, like March Mystery Madness, I had like 4 books I ended up not liking because I was just like determined to fit them.
Yeah. One thing the hosts got together, some of us got together not too long ago and talked about like March Mystery Madness. So we're going to try to keep it a little more simple next year, maybe fewer prompts. And we're also going to do a mid-year Mystery Madness, which will be just like 10 days.
And I would love to be a co-host for that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll chat about that. So
I love my mysteries, so I'm always looking for the mystery ones.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, Ro, that we would do maybe like a cozy mystery readathon at some point during the year would be fun. So
I'm all for that.
We'll chat about that. Very cool. All right. Well, I need to probably get off here. I've got to go get my daughter. She's going to be a full 30 minutes late getting back onto school.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not your fault. She doesn't care. Believe me. She's probably in there taking a nap, and I'll have to go wake her up. But she's supposed to be on here right now. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks you 3 ladies for joining me. Any final words?
It was nice meeting you guys. And Storm, I've always been a fan of your channel the last few years, so it was really nice seeing you. And nice meeting you, Alli. I'm going to sub to your channel.
Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to end this broadcast. Thanks so much. Y'all take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great day. God bless you.